4-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a pool around 450,000 that hasn't hit the market yet. Anywhere from Lake Worth to Coral Springs to Plantation to Cooper City. So if you guys know anybody that you're about to list, please call me. Let's do a one-day wonder. Thanks, John, for the opportunity.
Lance.
Yes, sir.
Lance, can you put
Yes,
your
sir.
information? Yes, can you put your information on the chat, because I know someone who's thinking of selling, but not now. But if we have a buyer, she may consider selling it now.
Yes, that's how it's
Sure.
done.
As soon as I stop at the light, done. Thank you. I appreciate you.
That's how it's
You're
done.
welcome.
That's how it's done. Lance, when you do that, do me a favor as well. Include what you're looking for in the chat, just in case Ryan's buyer isn't ready to Ryan doesn't have a seller ready to sell. I knew I was saying that wrong. The rest of you, take this as an opportunity who work in the Fort Lauderdale market to go find somebody who wants to sell their home, because you have a buyer who's looking to purchase a home. And there's not, this is a script, by the way, and there's nothing on the market right now. And who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? Let's find a seller for Lance, right? Cool. And Ryan, great job. I'm super proud of you. All right. It's
Lance, I have a house for you, just so you know. My sister's about to list it. I'm going to list it next week. So call me.
There you go. Let's find about a dozen houses for Lance, okay? I want the rest of you to go out there and find one too. This is just another opportunity to get more listings. Love it, love it,
Yeah,
love
and
it.
folks, I'm driving, so I'm going to pull over and put my information in the chat, but I didn't see who that was that just said that you have a house. So please reach out to me. When I go to the chat, it shuts the screen off.
Sure. It was Vivian Collado in the Coral Springs Market Center, just so you know. How's
Thanks,
that,
John.
Vivian? Did I do okay? All right, Script Friday. I'm sitting at your kitchen table. We're going to get into a listing conversation, and we are going to fast forward through part of the listing presentation because we're going to talk about closing today, and we're going to talk about overcoming objections in order to get the close. So I'm always looking for role play partners. If you want to role play with me, just raise your digital hand and I'll call on you. And until someone does that, I'm just going to pick someone. Ryan raised his hand. So I'm sitting at your kitchen table, Ryan, ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ryan, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today. It is always a privilege and an honor to meet with someone and discuss the possibility of the Dietz team representing them in the sale of their home. Now, I'd like to start by sharing my mission statement with you, if that would be okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Cool. So my mission is to meet your goals and exceed your expectations.
Okay,
now,
that sounds good.
Yeah, and because of that mission statement, whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of three things typically happens. One of those three things will happen today. Now, time out and listen to how I'm talking, because I'm speaking in bullet points, because I've written this entire presentation in bullet points. And I did that because it's easier to internalize the information when you do that than when you try to internalize a paragraph. Does that make sense? Nod your head, I'm looking at you. Cool. Yep. So Lance, Ryan, whenever I meet with a potential seller, because of my mission statement, one of three things typically happens. One of those three things will happen today. Either number one, they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer and they hire me, which is awesome. The second thing that occasionally happens is they may not hire me, and quite honestly, that's not so awesome. And then the third thing that happens once in a while is, hold on one second, guys, because I just realized I'm on video twice, and that's kind of freaking me out. No? Whatever. Okay. And the third thing that occasionally happens is I may choose not to represent the seller in the sale of their home.
What do you mean?
Great. I'm so glad you asked. And you're actually going to really like the answer. You see, Ryan, if I feel that a homeowner has a goal or an expectation that I am not able to meet or exceed, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now.
Sounds fair.
Yeah, cool. Now, time out again. I know that Ryan has another interview after me. I know that because I did a soft interview before going on the appointment, and I asked, are you interviewing other realtors? And he said, yes. And I said, cool. Am I the first agent you're going to meet with? And he said, yes. Great. So I know he has other appointments, and I'm going to set them up for failure. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see, Ryan, the really good news is I don't need your listing. Now, before you get offended by that, I really want to work for you. And that's why I'm here. You see, if I needed to list your home, I would tell you anything you wanted to hear just to put a sign in your front yard, wouldn't I?
Yes, you would.
Yeah. And because I know you're going to meet with other real estate agents, I know there's a good chance, a possibility that you're going to meet with someone who needs to list your home, and they're going to tell you anything you want to hear just to put a sign in your yard.
Yeah, sounds like real estate agents.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Is that okay?
Okay, quick question. Is it an expired or a feasible or a circle prospecting?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is a listing consultation. This is the same conversation I have at every single listing table.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Now, in order to know, this is called a transition statement. So I'm transitioning from begin the conversation to the needs analysis, which is the next step. If you listen to my 14-point listing presentation, I think this is step 7. So Ryan, in order for me to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectations, I need to ask you a couple questions. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Great. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so great and 10 being awesome, what's one thing that needs to happen in the sale of your home that would cause you to consider the experience a success?
A good offer above asking price in a short amount of time.
Love that. So let's start with a good offer above asking price. Tell me what that looks like. Based on what you know about your neighborhood, what do you think your home is going to sell for?
Maybe 450.
Cool. So if we got an offer above $450,000, that would be a 10.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now tell me, what would that do for you?
Well, I'd be able to buy a bigger house.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that. And why is buying a bigger home important to you?
Because of homeschooling and we are working at home, we need more space. So like, I feel like that's the best thing to do right now.
Cool. So time out again. So what I'm doing is the process is called going 3 deep. And we go 3 deep in order to discover what the real goal is, because the real goal is never at the surface. It's always down here. Is that making sense, guys?
Yes.
Cool. So Ryan, if we could accomplish a second goal so that this was a 10+ experience, what else needs to happen in the sale of your home?
Well, I don't need any headache, and I do not want to show my house a lot of time because of COVID. I don't want to allow strangers. Maybe one day, like one open house, and that's it.
Okay. Smooth transaction, as few showings as possible, a hassle-free sale. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And tell me, why is that important to you?
Because there's a pandemic going on. I don't want to show my house every single day, especially with everyone at home. So if you do it only one day, I'll be fine with it. But if you keep doing it over and over, it's not going to work out.
Totally get it. Okay. So if we can accomplish a third goal so that this is a 10+ experience, what's your third goal? Tell me you want me to reduce my timeout.
Yes, I want to list it at 2% because it's a seller's market. It's going to sell really fast. You're barely going to do any work.
I get it. And by the way, timeout again. At this point, you don't argue the goal. You don't say, "Are you nuts? I'm not going to list your house for 2%." You're in Curiosity, you're Colombo, you're just taking notes. You guys, the younger group, can Google that so you know what Colombo means. And you are just digging deep in order to find out what their goals are. In order to meet their goals and exceed their expectations, you need to know what their goals and expectations are. It's called a needs analysis. So Ryan, what would finding a real estate agent that was willing to discount their fee do for you? Why is that important?
I'd have more money in my pocket for my next purchase.
That makes sense. And tell me, why is that important?
Because the more money I have in my pocket, the higher I can, the higher I can make an offer on another house.
Cool. So guys, we're back to the big house with more room for Ryan's family, right? Now, Ryan, if we were able to nail one of these goals and barely miss the other two, what's number one?
Well, definitely get a good offer in a short amount of time.
Cool. So if we were able to get an offer at or above $450,000, and it might take a little bit longer to sell your home. Maybe we need to have more than one day on the market, maybe a couple showings, maybe not one showing, and my fee is not negotiable. That's still a 10.
Maybe yes.
Okay. So the way I'm asking you this question, Ryan, and it's important for me to know in order to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectation. It's a hypothetical question. However, we may find a moment where we have to choose one goal over the other two. So if we were in a situation where you had to just pick one, what's the one you would pick?
The bigger house.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
In order to do that, is somebody stopping me? I hear my name.
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
At this point, you didn't establish a price yet, right? Because you said 450.
He said 450. I'm using his number.
Okay.
So if we were able to get $450,000 for your home or a little bit more so that you can move into that bigger home with your family, it would be a 10.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Now, if we could accomplish two goals and barely miss the third, what's the second most important goal?
Not a lot of showings. I mean,
Cool.
I'm not saying not a lot of showings. I'm just saying only one day for showings and that's it.
Totally get it. So what I'm hearing you say is the number one goal is price at or above $450,000. Secondly, as few showings as possible. And then third, if possible, find an agent who's willing to discount their fee. Is that correct?
Yes.
Cool. Now, guys, I've written everything down. And I'm the same notebook that I used to take notes in when I was touring Ryan's home. And I'm going to open my notebook to the notes that I took. And I'm going to show Ryan, these are his goals. And I'm going to ask him, so Ryan, if I were able to demonstrate that I'm the right agent for the job, embedded command, guys, if I was able to show you that I was the right agent for the job in order to achieve these goals, would you hire me today?
Yes, but all agents are the same.
Okay, cool. Let's get started. I'm ignoring all agents are the same, guys. It's just going to go in a box. It's going to go on the shelf, and we're going to forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a trial close. Now we're going to go into what I'm going to do in order to help Ryan achieve his goals. In other words, I'm going to talk about my marketing strategy. I'm going to talk about how I list properties, what I'm going to do to get his home sold, what my service plan is. Then we're going to look at a market analysis, and we're going to go very deep into every property that has sold in the neighborhood, plus everything that's currently for sale. We're also going to do a supply and demand analysis to see what supply is for homes between 450 and 500,000, and what supply and demand is for homes between $400 and $450,000. Now we're at the end of the listing appointment, and we've agreed on price. We've agreed on everything else that we talked about, and it's time to close. Now, when I say we've agreed on price, Ryan's sticking to 460. I'm seeing 440 to 450. And it may not matter depending on the market, but then again, it may matter. And what I mean by that is if there's less than 30-day supply of inventory, the difference between 440 and 460 is not a big deal.
Mhm.
If there's more than 6 months of inventory, it's a huge deal. But let's just say for the purpose of this conversation that we agree. Now it's time to close. And there's a number of different ways to close. And my favorite way to close for a listing is, Ryan, earlier in our conversation, I asked you that if I could show you, going back to my notes, that I was the right agent in order to get these goals accomplished, if you would hire me. And you said yes. So are you ready to get started? Now, Ryan, I'm going to tell you what to say. For the purpose of this, I want you to say, John, I really like you, but I'm not sure. Now, I'm going to use a 1 to 10 close after that, and I want you to come back to price.
Okay.
Got it? Cool.
Yes.
So Ryan, are you ready to get started?
I really like you, but I'm not sure because I'm interviewing other agents.
Totally understand. So just out of curiosity, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you don't like anything I said and you can't wait for me to leave. And that's exactly how I'm going to deliver it. I've practiced that thousands of times with the smile, with the laugh. It's all part of the presentation. So Ryan, just out of curiosity, if I could show you, and oops, sorry, lost my place. Just out of curiosity, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you don't like anything I said and you can't wait for me to leave, and 10 being I'm the right agent for the job. Where are we?
I can say an 8, but your commission is still 3% and the price is not what I want.
Got it. So I'm an 8. My next question is, what would I need to do in order to be a 10?
If you can list it at 460 or 465 and your commission is, let's say, in the middle, 2.5, that would be great.
Cool. So guys, I'm going to pull out my thinking pad. That's what Zig Ziglar called it.
Mhm.
And it's a legal pad. And for the purpose of this call, it's going to be my iPad. And I'm going to start drawing just simple pencil drawings. So Ryan, if I were willing to list your house today for $460,000 and I was willing to discount my fee, in other words, I was willing to work for 2%, would you hire me today?
Yes, of course.
Cool. And when you say 2%, you mean to the listing side, because we're going to still give the buyer's agent 3%, correct?
No, they can get 2% too, so 4% in total.
Okay, so if I were willing to list your home today for 4% and I was willing to list your home for 460, you would hire me today, correct?
On the spot, yes.
Love it. So can I share with you why that concerns me?
How so?
Okay, so time out. Anytime I stop and say, can I share with you why that concerns me? That means I'm going to harm's way. And people are more motivated by avoiding pain than that they are by going towards pleasure. And I'm just going to start putting pain into this conversation. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Ryan, if this line indicates how much money we're going to get for your home, and this line down here at the bottom indicates how long your home is on the market. We've got 0 days, 30 days, 60, 90, 120, and 180. Now let's just say the market, not me. Let's say the market says your home is going to sell for 450. And we start at 460 because we can always lower the price later and because buyers can always make an offer, right?
Yes.
So what typically happens from day 0 until day 30, the amount of people who are looking at your home is going to peak somewhere around day 30. And when I say look at your home, I don't mean just walk in the door and look at your home. I mean they're looking at it online. They know it's for sale. And then after day 30, that's going to start to fall until 180 days out. Your next door neighbor doesn't even know your home is for sale anymore. And what typically happens when I meet with sellers and we have this conversation, and this has happened hundreds of times, Ryan, is somewhere around 90 days, they come back to me and they say, you know what, John, you were right. we haven't got an offer, go ahead and lower the price to 450. Now, the problem with that is our best opportunity to get your home sold was right there. That's where all the buyers are. And 90 days out, 450 is above the market. Now, what happens next is a buyer is going to come in your home 120 days out. And they are going to love your home. And the first question they're going to ask their agent is, how long has the home been on the market? Their agent's going to say 120 days. The next thing they're going to say is, what's wrong with it? And their agent's going to say, nothing. It's absolutely a great house. And that's a great price. Now, Ryan, if you were looking at a home that had been on the market for 120 days, are you paying full asking price, or do you see an opportunity to get a deal?
A deal, of course.
I agree. And Ryan, is your negotiating position stronger at 30 days, or is your negotiating position as a seller stronger at 120 days?
But it's a seller's market, right?
And is your negotiating position stronger at 30 days, or is it stronger at 120 days?
30 days.
Yeah, I agree. So the buyer, what typically happens is a buyer will come in with an offer of maybe 420. And now you're more motivated. Maybe your motivation has changed. And again, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen to you. I'm just telling you what typically happens is a seller ends up selling their home for 420 when they could have sold it at 450 or maybe even more than 450 in 30 days. So what ends up happening, Ryan, is that seller ended up losing $30,000 trying to make an extra 10,000. And your home's on the market 90 days longer. Between your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, and HOA fees, what is your monthly holding cost?
$2,500.
Okay, so that's another $7,500. So you end up losing $37,500 trying to make an extra 10,000. Now, if you knew that was going to happen, what would you do?
I would list it at 450.
So what should we do?
List it right now
At what price, Ryan?
at 450, but is your commission still 3%?
Cool, let's talk about that. So if I were willing to reduce my fee to 4%, would you hire me today?
Yes.
Cool. Can I tell you what concerns me about that?
Another concern?
Yep. You see, one of the ways we're going to attract buyer agents to show your home is how we pay them. And if there's lots of homes that are on the market like yours, and they're all offering 3%, and we're offering 2%, and you were the agent working with the buyers, are you as motivated to sell that home at 2% as you are all the other properties at 3%? Hey, before you answer that question, let me ask you another question. Ryan, if your boss called you tonight and said, hey, I've got great news for you, you still have your job, so show up tomorrow, and I'm reducing your salary by 1/3. How do you feel about that?
Not great.
Are you excited to go to work?
No.
Do you want a real estate agent working for you that's not excited to go to work?
No, sir.
Do you want buyer agents to bring buyers to your home that aren't excited to bring buyers to your home?
No, sir.
Yeah, and you see, here's the thing. If I were willing to discount my fee that I use to support my family, how quickly would I give up your money when we have an offer on your home?
Maybe too quickly.
Yeah. And Ryan, what you're asking me is if my fee is negotiable, correct?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, just not today. You see, when we have an offer on your home, if I need to give up money in order to make the deal work, I will, because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. And if I could get full asking price in less than 30 days, or maybe even more than the asking price, how important is my fee?
Not that much.
Cool. You ready to get started?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
So
Are we outside our role play?
Yes.
Cool, go.
Yes, one thing that I mentioned is I'm looking to move to a bigger house, but like I did not say I found another house yet. So like, would you do a buyer consultation afterwards or after I send the listing contract?
Oh, 100%. We're not going to do a buyer consultation and a listing appointment at the same time. No, we're going to do the listing appointment first. You're going to hire me. We're going to get it on paper, and then we're going to do a buyer consultation.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Carmen has her hand up. Go, Carmen.
And I didn't mean to.
Oh, that's from earlier. It's from earlier.
I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
no worries.
Forget that. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I've got
All right.
something.
Yes, talk to me.
So the ending script on the whole commission thing,
Mm,
that works both ways.
mm.
Even at a buyer consultation, I used it the other day. I swear to you, John, I hung up the phone and I literally shouted in my own personal office, "Holy bleep, that actually just worked." Because I had a good friend of mine that I've known for many, many years was using a realtor that his wife, it's like a longtime friend of his current wife. So I couldn't get in the door because of that situation.
There you
You know,
go.
nobody wants to go against their wife. So he finally calls me up to ask me a bunch of questions because his realtor is not doing their job. And I said, listen, I'm not going to slander your realtor, but to be straight honest with you, I don't want to come across as a schmuck. However, I'm not going to tell you what to go tell your realtor to let them do the job that I can do for you 10 times better. And then he says to me, well, to be quite honest with you, if I can get my wife to agree, this other realtor is giving up almost all of their commission. And I said, really? Exactly how much is that? That's how I pitched him. And he came back to me and he said, well, he's going to give me $2,000. And I said, and how much of a property are you buying? He said, 450,000. So I did the math real quick and I said, and he told you he's giving up all of his commission? I said, no, he's not. Let me tell you what his commission is. And I gave him the number for the commission. And then he said, so, okay, so if I'm hiring you, would you give me half of your commission or at least up to $2,000? And I basically said to him, let me ask you a question. Or may I ask you a question? I pulled the John D. May I ask you a question? He said, sure. I said, how's that working out for you right now with your current realtor? And he goes, well, it's not working out great. Otherwise I wouldn't be on the phone with you. So then I basically said, okay, listen, if I can get your offer accepted in today's market and we beat out 14 other offers, is my commission really that important to you at that time? Is the $2,000 really that important? And he goes, well, no, I guess it's not. And then I pulled the whole, okay, so fantastic. May I ask you another question? He said, sure. I said, in the event that you need an additional $2,000 to close on that property, when we get to the closing table, I will be more than happy to give up that $2,000 because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. And he said, sign me up, Scotty. And I hung up the phone and went, ah! So
Love it.
Wonderful.
it works. It works
love
on
it.
both sides. It really
Yeah.
does. I love it.
Great job.
People will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. Holy cow, this stuff works. Thank God. Good job, Lance. All right, I've got 9:05. A couple ahas and we're going to get to work.
John, I like the fact that you ignored the objections until it was time to handle them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you hear the objection in that moment, guys, doesn't mean you need to respond to them in that moment. Only time to handle objections is closing time.
Yeah. Yeah. What follows? Good job, Michael. What follows overcoming an objection? Say closing.
A close.
And if you overcome an objection at the wrong time, you can't close. So
Yep.
why overcome it? And guys, you're doing this on the phone when people will say, don't come here unless you're going to list my house for 3%. And you start overcoming an objection. They certainly can't hire you on the phone. What's the purpose of the call? Get the appointment, period. Now, if somebody asks you, will you list my home for 3%? Here's your answer. When we get together, I'm going to share with you what I can do to get your home sold. I'm going to share with you what I'm doing to sell blank number of homes every month in less than 30 days on the market for an average of 98% of the asking price. And at the end of our appointment, you share with me what you feel I'm worth. And if I'm able to work for that, we've got a deal.
Mhm.
All right, one more aha. We're going to jump. Going.
You are a deal maker, not a deal breaker.
Thank you. And Ryan, you did an amazing job. Lance actually wrote in the chat, Ryan is doing a great job. You would think John sent him a script to read. And you did. Thank you. Thank you for being a great role play partner. All right, for those of you who responded to my coaching post on my Survive to Thrive page, I have your email addresses. I will reach out to you and set up a phone call with you so we can talk about what that looks like. I am in the research stage right now. My vision is this will begin after family reunion, probably within 2 weeks. So look for an email from me. I will be reaching out to you to set up a phone conversation so you and I can have a conversation around what that looks like. For everybody who's wondering, does that mean this is going away? No, it doesn't. I told you before, this will never go away. And never means never. Until you guys say, John, we're sick and tired of listening to you, I'm here. Now, is there going to come a day when you say, John, we're sick and tired of listening to you? Maybe. And when that day comes, then we'll stop. All right. Love it. Guys, have a great weekend. Never truly off, never truly on. Make sure you take time off to recharge and sharpen the saw so that you can come back to work on Monday ready to kick butt. All right, for now, time to get to work. What's work?
What is work? 20 conversations a day. Not 19, not 18, not 17 conversations. When I have 17 conversations, because it's close enough, I have settled. The 18th conversation could have been $1 million listing, and I did not get. I never knew because I never made the call. Do not settle. Go, Chandra.
Purpose of the call is to make care calls, not sales calls. Always lead with gratitude. Remember to say, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you. Bring value to every single conversation. Go, Diane.
Every day in every conversation, focus on getting one face-to-face appointment with someone that wants to sell real estate, getting a referral, adding one person to my database. Go, Shoshana.
Set non-negotiable standards, live up to those standards. 20 conversations a day is a standard. One face-to-face appointment per day is a standard. Adding one person to my database every single day is a standard. Find someone today that is thinking of buying or selling real estate, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. It does not matter because I need listings and buyers a year from now. I am looking for opportunity, period. Not opportunity today, opportunity, period. Go, Sarah.
Because I have entered those 250 people into my line, I follow up with them forever because I reject rejection. No is not a word that lives in my vocabulary. No simply means not yet. Because I followed up every single day, I created emotional proximity. People do not change their minds. They make new decisions based on new information. And since I have emotional proximity, when they made a new decision, they hired me. I keep calling because success is absolutely guaranteed. Make it a great day.
Make it a great day.
Awesome job, guys.
Make it a great weekend.
Yeah.
Awesome job, everybody. Awesome
Have a
job.
great weekend.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
John.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, this
Bye.
is important. And half of you are gone. I'll send out an email. This is important. Next week is family reunion. We will be here on Monday, not Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And we will be here on Friday. I'll send it out an email so everybody got that. All right. Make it a great day, everybody.
Thank
too,
you.
Jen. Take
Bye.
care.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
All right.
Good week.